Hello, and welcome to another Learning has Changed CarCast. My name is Ben Wilkoff, and today I want to talk to you about something that's happening this evening. And that is that the U.S. Department of Educational Technology in Washington, D.C. is going to be putting on a hangout about supporting FutureReady teaching. Now, this is a part of the FutureReady District Pledge, which is something that that office is put out and has gotten a number of superintendents to sign. So like 125 or so superintendents have signed the pledge around the nation, and they are sort of the first wave of folks that have done this. And there are a number of different components of FutureReady districts, and one of the biggest ones is obviously supporting the educators within the district to be future ready. And so one of the things that I get to have the pleasure of doing this evening is actually talking about how do we support those educators and what does really future ready teaching look like. How do we support that future ready teaching? And the more that I thought about it, the more that I started thinking about all of the different elements within future ready teaching and learning. I really started to see some trends there, especially in the preparation and retention of really great teachers. And the biggest thing is this, and I kind of want to make it really simple. So the way in which we support future-ready teaching is by supporting the future-proofing of teachers. And if you've never looked up the concept of future proofing, it's the idea that you could prepare for things right now that will help to ensure that either a tool or a process or something does not become obsolete in the future. And I think that's actually the biggest worry for most teachers right now is, does this technology, the personalization of learning, any new initiative that is sort of taking traditional teacher roles and sort of turning them on their heads, does that make my role as a teacher obsolete? Does it make teaching obsolete? And if we are future ready, doesn't that require us to teacher-proof our teachers and to make sure that the teachers themselves see themselves as future-proof? And so I started thinking about, well, what would that mean? And in the ways in which you do sort of future-proofing for technologies is you think about, okay, so they're interoperable, you know, they'll be able to last a really long time. If you're future-proofing buildings, you are making sure that they're sustainable materials and that they last, and you've done all of the testing to make sure that they are not, you know, going to deteriorate in the next, you know, 20 or 50 years. You know, you're looking out centuries, and can these survive? I don't think we have to go that far with our future-proofing of teachers, but what I do think is that at the most basic, we have to support the structures that allow teachers to support themselves. We have to create the structures that allow for networks of adult learners to help one another, and so that they always look at their craft as a continuous improvement, and that they always look at their craft as something that is, you know, worth learning and worth being passionate about and worth continuing to pursue. Because in a future-proof teacher, he or she would very likely see their exploits, their work, as never being done. Now, a lot of teachers are very much in that situation right now. They rely on online networks of professional development. They rely on communities of practice that are spread wide across their district or across the globe. And but I don't think that's the only thing that we should be doing in order to future-proof teachers, or in order to let them future-proof themselves. I also think that it has something to do with our ability to talk about the role of the teacher as something that is fluid, and that we have the ability to become more comfortable with more and different roles within a teaching career. and making that something that that is appealing, that is that we are supporting. So whether it's through teacher leadership, when they are assuming different roles in coaching or in leading some of those communities of practice, but that there are other roles also in the classroom, that they really do feel that they are up to the task of curating the right tools, the right resources for students, and not necessarily in being the one that provides the direct instruction, but rather curating that direct instruction or finding the right tools to allow students to demonstrate their learning. So in future proofing, or allowing teachers to future proof their teaching, we are actually preparing them and preparing our entire system to be adaptable, to be flexible to the needs of the students that are in their room, that are in their charge. Because if we are trying to prepare, if we were trying to get future ready, we're saying that we need access to the right devices and providing them that, well, those devices are going to change a lot over time, and we need to be adaptable enough to learn those, and by future-proofing our teachers, or allowing themselves to do so, then they can learn those new devices. They can learn how to use them. If we're making that future ready pledge and we're saying that we want to have digital learning as sort of the focus, and the ability for students to personalize their own learning according to their needs and their interests, then we probably need teachers who are able to do the same. We need to allow teachers to future-proof in the ways that they are choosing their own professional development, in the ways in which they are creating their own goals. And their own goals should not necessarily be ones that are for that next initiative. They should be probably much more about the ability to continually grow over time. And maybe it's obviously a sort of a combination of both of them, but in making that pledge that I am going to make sure our district or our school is future ready, we have to be able to say it isn't about right now, it isn't about 5 years from now, it's about having value out into the future. That our teachers will have value and will see themselves as valuable, and that our society and our schools and our districts will see them as the valuable component of this equation that is future ready teaching. And so that's what I'm thinking about right now. And I guess what I would ask you, if you're watching this, is how else do you think that teachers should future-proof their teaching? How else do you think we can make future-proof teachers in which they do not feel as though they are being made obsolete, as though they are being pushed out of the teaching and learning process, and that they are just, the ones that are the teachers of record for the data that comes in from a student? How do we future-proof the teachers so that they feel future ready? Hopefully that all makes sense. But if you have some ideas, leave them down in the comments, or respond in another way, because there are many, many ways that we, in a future-ready world, are enabling each other to have that conversation. Thank you so much for watching.